Fall Guys, the most iconic game of 2020. The game that had millions playing.
Today we are playing Fall Guys.
Said this game came out in 2020.
And made friendships end.
I heard this game is pretty good, like people like it. I just want to show you guys that this game is not good.
Move up! Move up! Move up!
But now it's 2026, and Fall Guys is quiet. Too quiet, like my channel. So let's investigate. Fall Guys didn't slowly become popular. It exploded into popularity. When it launched in August 2020, it arrived at the perfect moment.
Coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what everyone spread out.
People weren't looking for intense competition or complicated mechanics. They wanted something simple, something fun, something unpredictable. And Fall Guys delivered exactly that. There were no guns, no deep strategies, no learning curve that took hours. It was just chaos, bright colors, silly physics, and pure randomness. Anyone could understand it instantly. You didn't need to be good to have fun. And that accessibility made the game feel like a playground rather than a competition. At its peak, Fall Guys wasn't just trending, it was everywhere. Streamers were playing it daily, YouTube was filled with clips, social media was dominated by moments of last-second jumps and heartbreaking falls.
Watch this, chat. Watch this. 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 Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. One more. One more. All right, man. Here you go. Here you go. Right here. Look at this kid right here. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Ah! Dummy!
It reached over 170,000 concurrent players on Steam, an insane number for a party game. But more importantly, it became a shared experience. Winning a crown felt dramatic, losing felt hilarious. Every match told a small story. For a brief time, Fall Guys wasn't just a game people played, it was a game the internet lived inside. But viral games rarely stay at the top forever. The very thing that made Fall Guys exciting, unpredictability, slowly started to fade. The same maps began repeating, the same obstacles returned, everything felt familiar. And while Fall Guys stayed mostly the same, the internet didn't. Because right around this time, another game entered the spotlight. Among Us. Suddenly, the internet had two giants at the same time. Fall Guys and Among Us. It was like a gaming version of Ronaldo versus Messi. You weren't just playing a game, you were picking a side. Fall Guys gave you randomness and physics. Among Us gave you deception, betrayal, and voice chat drama. And for many players, talking, accusing, and laughing with friends hit harder than just running obstacle courses. Fall Guys made you fall, Among Us made you argue. So attention began to shift. Streamers followed the conversations, viewers followed the streamers, and the spotlight slowly moved. Fall Guys didn't suddenly become bad, it simply stopped being the main character. And online, once something stops feeling new, millions of players quietly move forward without even realizing it. Then in June 2022, Fall Guys made the biggest change in its history. It went free to play, launched on new platforms, and introduced crossplay. This gave the game a second life. More players joined, and the barrier to entry disappeared. Over time, the developers leaned into creative, player-made levels, bringing a constant stream of new maps into the game. The goal was clear. Fall Guys didn't want to disappear. So what happened? Did Fall Guys die? Not exactly. It didn't vanish. It shrank. Today you might see smaller lobbies or slower matchmaking in certain modes, which makes the game feel empty. But at the same time, there are still thousands of players active across different shows and playlists. On Steam alone, it averages hundreds of players with peaks around 1,000, and that doesn't even count consoles. Fall Guys isn't a giant anymore, but it's not dead either. In 2026, Fall Guys feels different. It's no longer the main event, it's a comfort game. You don't launch it to grind or compete seriously. You open it for fun. The gameplay hasn't changed much at its core, and honestly, that's why it still works. The physics are still weird, the races are still intense, and sometimes losing still feels funnier than winning. So, how good is Fall Guys in 2026? Is it dead? No. A dead game has no players, no matches, no activity. Fall Guys still has all three, but it's no longer loud. It's no longer dominating conversations or trending every week. It has shifted from superstar to background classic. Fall Guys is a legend that just stopped shouting, but never truly disappeared. But there is still one game which was most talked about during its era, its true rival,